Yeah.
You look good tonight.
Thanks.
All right. Welcome to episode 3 of the Neff Pace Podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like we're falling into a good groove.
I think this one was the first one that we weren't scrambling for.
Well, it's late. Monday night, and I just got out of search and rescue training, which was unfortunately, online. But
I'm annoyed by that. Yeah, we couldn't get it together to do it beforehand, and I'm tired, so here we are.
I'm tired, but we got some energy.
Yeah, I just ate some ice cream, so we'll talk about that.
Let's talk about that. I brought you ice cream last night.
You did. So yesterday obviously was a big day.
Yeah.
Houston.
Ice cream was deserved.
And you were a little pissed off at me because I forgot you wanted pizza for dinner, and I made soup, chicken tortilla soup.
Which I was very grateful for, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. But I deprived you of your pizza. We did get pizza today, so that's better.
I just wanted to binge, like I just had
Yeah.
The post-race binge is important.
Right.
My buddy from Houston, like in college, Cole, we would always just call it ice cream benders because we weren't really like big drinkers back then either, even in college, at least at that stage. My fifth year senior, definitely gotten out of it.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we'd do some ice cream benders, that's for sure.
Yeah, so then you did the ABC show.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can get into it. But I want to hear more about the ice cream. You just had
yeah, so I'm just going through yesterday, right? ABC show, and then you get ice cream afterwards.
Yeah.
And I told you I didn't want ice cream, but you brought me some home anyway, which was so sweet. And I was just laying in bed, and the girls come in, and they're like, Rachel.
Colin and Maya.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Guess how Dad brought home the ice cream? And yeah, why don't you share what you did?
Well, it's so cold out. We have impending sleet right now.
I mean, yeah, it's hitting the windows.
Yeah, it's coming down in Houston. We have the blizzard of doom coming here right now. And it's so cold out, I decided to preserve your ice cream so it didn't melt in the heat of the car by keeping it on the outside of the vehicle.
So
brilliant.
You were just holding it with the bag outside the window?
No, I slammed the door with the bag in the door, just like you'd see like a lady's dress, and
I wonder what people thought about that.
It was just this white paper bag.
Well, thank goodness the paper bag didn't rip.
I know, it was on the running board and secure.
Okay.
Did a good job and made it.
Wow.
The girls were so excited though.
Yeah, they were very excited.
I'd be the best DoorDash driver ever for like delivering cold food.
Just hanging out the window? Yeah. They love that. But how would you
Except like one,
hot?
Well, their food wouldn't make it to them because I'd probably eat it, which I've heard stories
Oh
of.
my gosh, if you had Indian in the car, it'd be over with. He's on a huge Indian kick lately.
Always.
Yeah.
Especially when it's cold.
Yeah. So.
All right, so we're going to try to stay on track.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a little bit of agenda in front of me because you look so important with your iPad. And I can't always see all the topics.
And you don't have the agenda, so
there you go.
Here you go.
We do prepare for these.
Yeah.
And I realized last week we missed out on finishing what our sponsorship was, like your first sponsorship, and then we just completely went.
So we did that a few topics last week of just starting something and then not finishing it. So we came out of that episode and I'm like, we have to go through the agenda before the show. Yeah. We can't just do it live.
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly style.
But it's good to do it live because I feel like the in-between podcasts, I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. I have so many things saved up. I want to talk to you on the podcast and have real discussions about them. And now I'm just like in shutdown mode during the week.
It's so frustrating. Be like, talk to me. And he'll be like, no, I can't talk to you.
I'll think of something. I'm like, oh, I'm going to save it for the podcast.
I'm going to save it for the podcast. And then there were a few times where you did try to talk to me. And I started to react. And I'm like, oh, no, you should save the rest.
It's not that bad, but.
But yeah, no, we joke. Anyway, so this was part of our recovery today, actually.
Yeah, so I went to a local business commerce meeting for the first time, which I actually was able to walk there. So I walked across the runway from our house. It's really cool.
Yes, that's
Crossed
true.
over a little gap in the fence to the local church.
We shouldn't tell people there's a gap in our fence.
There's poison ivy everywhere.
There is, truly.
Yeah. And yeah, I met a lot of really cool local businesses, and had a lot of mutual interest in things and doing, partnerships and things. And right out of it came a HotWorks partnership, initially for me, but once we both showed up there on day one, they're like, we'll offer the same package to you and your wife. And we've been going like pretty consistently.
Yeah, a couple times a week at least. It's been nice.
So we've been going to HotWorks. And
HotWorks
infrared saunas with the option just to go in there and hang out, but it's really for working out. So there's yoga, stretch, and there's guided videos, which we're not that into, honestly.
I think I would be open to doing a yoga one or the core one.
Yeah, for sure.
But the biking ones, because we'll spin in the sauna.
Yeah.
I am not into those videos.
Yeah, there's rowers, there's assault bikes, there's spin bikes, and then just yoga rooms, basically.
Yeah.
But there's so many benefits, and like we'd found a study, we don't have to get really into the details. I think you actually kind of went through it in more detail than I did. We both read the study, but I saw your notes and I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
I just went through certain highlights of, the benefits of sauna. And so, this goes further than just this HotWorks. Is anytime you have some type of race that has potential for some heat exposure, and it's not summer in Houston, you hop in the sauna.
Yeah.
You did that for Black Canyon last year.
Yeah, so basically like the heat adaptations are so beneficial. But not only just for hot races or racing in the heat, it's beneficial for like cold weather races, which we just had yesterday on Sunday. Just like the adaptations that happen physiologically for your body.
Just think in the summer in Houston, everyone thinks they're crap runners because it's so hot. In the first cold wave, everyone's fitness explodes.
Yeah.
It's
we
amazing.
Call it poor man's altitude. And there's a lot of benefit there. So it's been working really well for us. We're going to commit to trying to, like 3 times a week would be really good. And
that's the goal,
maybe like 2 spins and 1 kind of mobility would be kind of a good balance.
Yeah, that day we did 40 minutes of core and mobility, and it was really nice.
And then Charlotte's been coming and just sitting right outside the glass and having her own little time.
Yeah.
She's been really good.
Yeah, she has.
So you need to fix that.
I know, it's driving me crazy.
Go ahead and go to settings. Yeah, so Houston Marathon weekend is huge. Obviously, like big on our list to cover tonight. Unfortunately, you didn't run. Kind of went through that in episode 1.
Yeah.
But your running's going well.
Yeah, we talked about this on. I did do my 18-miler on Saturday, and that was great. And then I did a workout today with 400s, and it was great. Yeah.
Back to it.
I'm in shape.
And you signed up for a race.
I'm gonna do Woodlands half is the plan.
Yeah.
So assuming, nothing physical happens, then
I don't love it. We have a race that same morning.
I know. I'm supposed to be race directing.
I got Jay. We're good.
And it's one of the easier ones, 1 aid station.
We'll knock it out.
Yeah.
But you'll come after.
Exactly.
So really cool. Yeah, you'll be at the Woodlands half. It's a race I've done before, the marathon. Won it.
Of course.
After getting hit by an F-150 like 3 months earlier and breaking my leg.
That's crazy.
It was that was an awesome comeback story.
Yeah, no kidding.
So your training's going well, and then so Thursday before the Houston Marathon, we kind of talked about. Did we get that far in our last week? Because we did Friday night.
We did Friday night. Okay. So we're caught
up. You got to meet Jake Robertson, Alex Masai at the track on Thursday. Yeah. We did our shakeout run. Yeah, Friday we recorded. And then, it was full on Houston Marathon.
Well, Saturday you were gone all day. You were gone Saturday
I left
onward.
And that was it.
That was it.
So I went to check in my bottles. So elite athletes get bottle support. So basically they gave us 7 bottles every 5 kilometers. We had our own tables on the right side of the course. So you kind of knew right at about those 5K splits, there'd be elite bottle tables. And they actually just line them up like these mugs and give you a number, and a table number, and then a positioning number.
Yeah.
And I was actually the last bottle position on the women's marathon just because I was their pacer.
Yeah.
So I got my nutrition in there. I basically did a full bottle mix of, it was probably like 40 grams of carbs per bottle of the Never Second mix. And I put that into 3 different bottles, so kind of divided it in 3, and then taped with a bright orange, because there's like a craft table set up in the elite suite where all the athletes are using like glitter, straws, and tape, and like trying to differentiate, the different bottles. So I just had a single orange thing, and nobody else used that, thankfully, so I could really see my bottles really well. But I just had a gel taped around the outside, and I got every single one. So I was taking 30 grams of carbs from a gel and a little over 10 grams and like a small third of a bottle.
Every 5K.
Every 17 minutes.
That's crazy.
So I was getting 40 grams of carbs every 17 minutes consistently all the way through 40K.
Since we've been together, at least, I've never known you to be that consistent.
To be able to do it.
To do it, right? So
I'll get some kind of fatigue or just like,
every time we plan, we lay it out, we put it in the bags, but then you always have leftovers. I've never known you to take it all.
Yeah, really pushing the gut training as much as I can.
So how did your stomach feel?
It was fine. Yeah, I mean, basically held the pace through 30K that I was asked to do, which was like 5:25 a mile-ish. So we were a little quicker, maybe 5:23 or so. So at that pace and that effort level, there's not a lot of blood that's going to the digestive system to move things. So the fact to be able to process that as energy is a really good sign for the ultra running stuff, where the pace is going to be 2 minutes a mile slower or more.
Yeah.
So a lot more ability to process. And I don't need to process any more than that.
Yeah.
Getting kind of ahead into the results and the weekend, but Christian Allen was one I really wanted to preview just because he's such a unique character on the trail scene, and I can bring up a picture of him and share that. Just a really cool guy. Was really happy to hear that he also, I think it was his debut marathon. I'm gonna bring up a picture of him and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about on exactly why he's such a character to follow. But there's Christian Allen. He's got the mustache and the big mullet hair, and he's
total trail look.
Yeah, and we connected like right away, like kind of ran each other. We had just followed each other on Instagram. I'd seen him run recently at USATF 10K Trail Champs. Was just like, saw he was on the list and really wanted to meet him. And we caught up after the race. He said he took in about the same, and he ran 2:10.
Wow. That's so fast.
2:10. He was the top American. I believe he was 7th overall.
Yeah.
Crazy he was top American in the marathon at Houston. So took home some money, and just really down-to-earth, chill guy, as you'd expect from someone on the trails. And he's, I thought for sure this guy was in the half, and then also he would never leave sub-ultra racing. We have our friend MK Myers that hosts MK Sullivan hosts the Sub Hub podcast, which is really cool, covering everything that's sub-ultra running.
Sure.
And I just thought that was his world that he would stay in, just like we've seen Joe Geezy, Joe Gray, and guys like that just never kind of really adventure into Marathon Plus, and he's already thinking of doing like 50 miles.
Really?
So
it's funny, I feel like that's more rare recently, where people are transitioning more towards sub-ultra.
Yeah, there has been
and
even I think in public in general, the half marathon is probably the biggest expanding popular event now.
Right.
Like on road and everywhere. It's just so much easier to train for and so much less damaging, and like you can get on with your weekend.
The recovery,
you can race, and get on with the rest of your weeks and your life and everything.
I mean, I feel that way about a 50 miler though. I can do 50 miles then have a good dinner, No. Maybe that's
have like
just me.
3 months of good dinners. And maybe think we get back to it.
Yeah.
That is just you.
Anyway.
All right, so that kind of got ahead in the weekend, but I was down there in the morning Saturday dropping my bottles, and they actually check your uniform, and they have a little placard thing that they check the sizing of my logos on Ultra. So I was mentioning last time that we went through that.
You were struggling to find
actually everything passed, like
wear.
The tights and the singlet, and then my jacket kind of had a huge one on the back, but it just was kind of hidden, and it was a warm-up gear, and it kind of just slid through the cracks. The hat was probably the buff that I ended up wearing, probably too many logos on it, but they weren't too strict in the end. And then also they don't look at your shoes beforehand, but they're like, we'll look at any performance that's like questionable and actually take your shoe and then see if it has too high of a stack height.
Interesting. So, well, you don't have to worry about that.
No.
Yeah.
That was kind of Saturday. Met up with all the hard loop athletes and kind of jumping ahead there. I was trying to remember the stat. I think I pulled 20 of the top, and we averaged like 323 of the top 20.
Yeah.
And then like the top 40 times, we averaged like 340 for
Which
the
is
whole entire
great
training group
still.
that we have with Hard Loop. And that includes Coach Jason and Coach Taryn. Taryn did an incredible job with her whole big roster. And of course, Coach Jason had just his wife, Kathleen, with that one. But she had a huge BQ PR. And like we had athletes run 234, 244, tons in the 250s, tons of women in the 250s. Brooke, 255, I know she's listening. Like just like incredible. Lots of sub threes, and then tons of BQs. We had tons of 320s. So that average is just like staying super low.
No, congrats to everyone that did that.
I told Coach John Warren, jumping ahead, I did the show with him, but he's a Rice coach, and it was like, I feel like we've been saying this a lot at Houston lately. It's like today was a good day to be today was an easy day to be a coach. It's a good day to be a coach. When the weather is good, it's like, that's when people run the best, when it's cold.
I don't know many people that didn't PR.
Yeah, and I know you had a little bit of FOMO for that.
I did, yeah. I was struggling with that a bit. I'm wondering if I made the right decision, but that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. You made the right decision.
I know I did.
Yeah,
I know I did, but it's hard sitting on the sidelines. But honestly, it was great. You left with all the kids Saturday morning, and I was...
Oh, yeah. Thanks to Mom.
Yeah, they went to your
old
mom's
school
house.
roller rink.
Yeah.
No, they went right to the roller rink. I dropped them there.
Oh, really? Yeah. And it was just me and Billy Baldwin all day. Studying, and it was great.
Yeah, so I met up all Hard Loop, and then we had tech meeting, and I was like all the way until 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon, did not know what I was going to run for Sunday. And then they never even talked to me before the meeting. It was like literally on slide 20, it was like, and the marathon pacer for the women, we're looking at about 1:11:30 through halfway.
Yeah, you were like live texting me.
And that was it. And then just like moved on. They didn't ask anybody to stand up. And I kind of later, just through random friend introductions, found out there's another girl that was wanting to do that, a woman from England. And then Erica Kemp had her own pacer.
Yeah.
She ended up being top American, second place overall. Ran a large majority of the race with her and her pacer and the pack that had formed around us for that kind of 222, 223 group. But we're starting to get into some of the results. My own race, I ended up kind of running just a faded, comfortable cruise 224.
Which honestly is the best for you because, Black Canyon's in 3 weeks. Yeah,
I was thinking like, let's say I was covering, like doing a show and covering Black Canyon people, and I'd be like, well, this guy just ran 219 like 3 weeks ago and is like pretty wrecked. Like I wouldn't put my money on them, but if it was like somebody ran 224, comfortable, fueled like heck, and like was able to run the next day, like, okay, that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah, you did run today.
Yeah.
You spun on the bike today
and
in the sauna.
So back to it. My right knee, for some reason, it feels like I just like hit the kneecap.
Well, that's funny because you were griping on your calves.
Even I stepped off the bus that morning. My right calf had been bruised from just getting some needling done on the Tuesday and Thursday. And then I stepped off, and my left calf all of a sudden felt exactly the same. This is 2 hours before the race. I was like, both my calves are like cramping.
Yeah, I talked to you on the phone, and you were worried a little bit.
Yeah, but warm-up went great, and it was so windy in the warm-up because we were downtown, and it was like you'd run to an intersection.
Oh, it's just wind tunnels.
And it would push you to a stop. And then 2 feet later, just the tunnels would stop and you were pushed that way. And I was like, okay, I know we're downtown right now. It'll be better. And it was completely unpredictable. Like everything I said that would happen on course, of course, was like different. Yeah. And I think all the athletes found that. And so I think the ones that showed up with a more open mindset ended up doing much better than the ones that were like, this is just terrible. It's going to suck. The wind is going to destroy everything. And there's no way to run fast. Yeah. They really struggled with that, but not a lot of people, obviously. A lot of people were just surprised that they were running so
Pleasantly
fast.
surprised, yeah.
So, results. I think the big one was, the half marathoners, we had American records on both sides. And, obviously want to give Wayne Kaladi some recognition. What was her time? She ran 106.
Oh, yeah.
106.09. Yeah, 106.09 for second place behind the Ethiopian Gertrude.
Yeah, I mean, very close, right?
Yeah. Well, all the races were really close. I mean, she was seconds behind, but then obviously to go into the men's, the big attention was on. And I wanted to bring up the reason this was like such a huge. We're going to transition over here to a little YouTube clip of Ryan Hall because it's just such an iconic moment in sports, really, especially for Houston and for running. But to see, there we go.
Oh my God, you guys.
This is Ryan Hall in 2007. And it's like just old school Houston. Like you can see those Allen Parkway hills, which the half actually doesn't run anymore. Just those arms down. Sarah Hall's in the back of the vehicle, commentating, like following along. And that's just such, in my mind, it's like impression, just to watch this clip. So that was Ryan Hall when he ran, I had it in my notes there.
Yeah, he
59:43. And that was in 2007. And then Connor Mantz just dipped under it, got leaned at the line, basically, or almost tried to lead in the first place guy in 59:17. So a super close race. A bit of controversy around that. I've been chatting with some people with the race even of just like, what do you think about the decision? They never protest, so I got to meet his coach Ed Eyestone, which is also coach for Keira D'Amato and Connor. Like all these, like this Utah group is just like really exploding, and it's got to be one of the best distance coaches and programs there is out there right now.
Right.
But they never filed a protest. They were really happy with American record, obviously. And I think if you look at a different side view of what happened and you listen to what he says about the race, is that like he just left it too late to kick. So he came from behind like 40 meters too late and then just caught him at the line. And yeah, it wasn't, I don't think it was like a dirty push to the side or anything. And I had a capture of that I can show. But yeah, basically I got a few text messages along this weekend just asking if maybe that it was an interference. So in the track world, it's like you have to hold your line, and you see it all the time. They drift to like lane 4 or 5, pushing everybody out.
Yeah.
In the road, it's a little bit more lenient, it seems. I'd also say like the tape wasn't long enough, like the finisher's tape. They're kind of squeezing between two people. So I'd say maybe some feedback that I'll give for the race is like to have a little bit wider of a finish, because there's 4 guys that were coming.
I mean,
so imagine if it was a 4-lane.
Very like close. Within
59:17, 59:17, 59:18, 59:20.
Yeah.
So Jamal Yimmer, 4th. He was my roommate a few years ago in the past. I always love seeing him. And he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of the controversy. That was $30,000 difference.
That's huge.
So
right?
That's where, like, I think after the fact when they learned that was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking centimeters, if that. And $30,000.
$30,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting. The next note I had on that was like, okay, 59:43 for Ryan Hall in 2007 in flats. And I was going to bring it up at this point, but you saw the Allen Parkway Hills that he had to run. Completely different course, solo. Is that better than 59:17 in super shoes?
So I was doing some math on this and, plopped it into Excel. So
Dang,
sorry
the analyst.
For anybody that if I messed up my math skills. But the difference, like the super shoe is claiming to add 4 to 5% efficiency in your running, which can translate to about 2% of a performance increase.
Okay.
So,
well said.
So
a lot of people just say 4 to 5% faster, but you got it right.
I did my homework.
Very proud.
So then 2% of that 59:43 is just over a minute, right? Like 1 minute and 11 seconds. So you really should be like 58:35, 32.
You heard it.
And 59:17 is 0.7 increase, so less. So based on this, assuming that he is getting that performance increase from the super shoe, Ryan Hall still did it better.
Yeah, well, and then Joe Klecker was a huge favorite on the list as well to be in record contention.
Yeah.
And he's coached by Nathan Ritzenhein, who I got to see I think I mentioned on the Shake It when I was driving Jake back to the
Yeah.
hotel, we almost like hit them in the crosswalk. Well, we don't. We stopped for them in the crosswalk.
Yes.
But Ritz ran, I think I had it on there.
60 minutes
60
flat.
flat in 2009. And the shoes we're talking about back in 07, 09, like basically what we would do, and I ran kind of in this era, not to that level by
Yeah.
any means or on the roads, but like when I was in high school and when I was in college, it was the lightest possible shoe you could get, which meant it had like very little to no sole, which is so
Right, they're
crazy.
super light.
It was just a flat.
Right.
That was the thing. We call them flats. We didn't even call them, we call them racing flats or just flats.
But it doesn't like propel you forward like the
No,
ones
they were
now,
moccasins.
Right? Yeah.
They were just the smallest amount of shoe you could wear to protect the bottom of your foot. That was
Well,
it.
I mean, if we're talking the same argument here, that 60 flat's still better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
For Ritz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of
Not
pulling some
to,
things
you
from the
know,
boards, but I like that you did your own analysis.
Not to
on this.
diss an Olympian,
Oh,
right?
I know. Yeah, we were all, yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
this is all in data.
And so what, right? Like, I hate when people are just like, well, I could run better than that. I could have beaten that person. It's like, you weren't there, right?
Right.
And it's like,
yeah.
But my roommate this weekend, really
Yeah.
cool, was a coach,
didn't
but
talk
former
about that.
athlete. Alistair Craig, he's a legend from that era.
Okay.
And trained with Ryan Hall, or at least his agent, who I got to see this weekend as well. But yeah, he's with Puma now, leads a group out of North Carolina. Erica Kemp's part of that. The winner of the Olympic trials. I can picture in my head. Anyways, he was saying like they're training in super shoes like 3 times a week, whereas his wife Amy Craig, when she was with Nike, had to take some breaks from that, or just like their experience with Nike was like couldn't do it all the time, just from the comfortability. I just saw a study that said your running economy improves based on the comfort of your shoe. So a huge,
Interesting, yeah.
like squeezing into a high performance shoe that hurts, actually the performance boosts the economy, but then the comfort reduces it.
Yeah.
So I always see people squeezing in, and I'll just say the Nikes, because that's the popular
Well,
one.
I mean, we know quite a few people
Yeah,
that solely wear Nikes for every run.
Well, super shoes for
the super
every
shoes
run.
for every run.
And so this coach was saying like there's benefits just training that way. I know a lot of the Japanese programs are like just super shoe only, and like every day you're getting that important increase. So that's a completely different even argument for the race result, not even just throwing a super shoe on somebody for race day.
Yeah.
But I think there's also negatives to that. And we're seeing a lot of general people get injured from super shoes.
You know, I like the
we're getting tired
feeling
of this.
though of
the bounce.
of
Yeah.
I don't wear super shoes, but like I like the feeling of being in a heavier shoe for an easy run
okay.
and going and doing a workout and just feeling a little bit lighter, a little bit faster, a little bit more responsive, and then going back to
So to take that to the extreme, I've started doing some more warm-ups. I was thinking this the other day. I get a lot of people that are like, do you really post everything you do on Strava? Because I'm not running that much.
You do.
I really do.
Yeah, you really do.
Every step of running is logged on there, because all I use for really tracking. But the only thing that's not on there is like really my warm-ups and cool downs, because I'm on the treadmill so much, I like it, that I'll just, to get all the tech running like Zwift and pods and things paired, and then find what I want to listen to, or YouTube, because that's the only time I actually listen to music.
You don't.
I'll hike.
Yeah.
Like I'll do.
I came in to the room the other day, and he was wearing
Well, this is where I was
ankle
going.
weights. Yeah.
Ankle weights, weight vest.
Yeah.
Hand weights, and this was my new thing. Like, I was
At a
going up,
high incline.
and I was at 15%, and I was going outside for a run.
Yeah.
I actually just came in here to warm up, and that's all I did. I did fully weighted on all extremities. I did it for 10 minutes. When I went outside, it was like, for an old man, I'm masters now, that was the fastest opening kilometer I've had in probably like years. Like I just
so
out of the gate was like
very extreme from like a
you were saying, like you just like having that lighter feel. Should
just
try,
a few grams of a difference of
I'm
shoes.
talking pounds of a difference.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm totally into that for a warm up. I felt like ready to go, and I was gonna stay in the neighborhood. That was my final workout before Houston on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I was I almost was like, hey, can you come outside to film me when I come back and forth?
Well, you did.
I told you that.
You texted me. I had my phone in
Ready.
my lap ready to go, and I couldn't find you when I got home, and that's where I found you, on the treadmill still.
Yeah, but then I was like, oh, you'll come outside and film me later. But I started running, and I went down a highway, and I did like 12 miles, I think, and
Yeah,
came
you
back.
did a surprising, you went to the cemetery, right?
First time
Yeah.
I've done the cemetery workout. We saw it from the air. It's talking a little bit
on
flying.
that New Year's Eve
New Year's Eve flight.
yeah.
We looked down, and the most beautiful, perfect,
Like little circle.
paved, brand new
Yeah.
pavement circle with gravestones all around. And it's a little bit like, I want to be respectful of, obviously, people. There was nobody there.
No
and-
active burials happening at the time.
Right, no visitors at
Okay.
all. Yeah. And I did a 5K in like 15:35, I think,
Race
around a
week.
cemetery.
Yeah.
Race week, and then did 4 by 1 minute and sub 5 up the highway to come home.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's some good training.
Anyway, yeah.
So
Super
we're going on
shoes.
some tangents.
No.
Yeah, I feel like super shoes and a very tired topic, but
And then, so after
Overall.
Houston,
yeah, Sunday. Yeah, I caught up with our buddy Jake. Unfortunately, he DNF'd. I don't think we really talked about
we didn't
that.
talk about
Yeah,
it.
he just wasn't feeling great.
We
in and
we
out.
were sitting at the table eating yesterday, and he said, "Oh, I want to tell you about my race, but I'm not going to tell you about it yet."
And now we're just gonna skip over it because I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, it went off pretty fine. There was so many pacers in there. There's like 3 or 4 of us, and like huge group. There was at times I felt like I just really wasn't needed, which was perfectly fine, and I was able to just kind of actually go into the pack, recharge, and then anytime I felt a win, I made a real charge to the front.
Yeah.
I wore my coat the whole time.
And
which
you
is
said
crazy.
you were really sweaty for like.
Just in the back, but like
Yeah.
I would unzip and things would dry out and get cold, and then whenever the wind hit, I would just like, it was like kind of like a mental thing. I would zip up,
Yeah.
mitt covers back on my gloved hand, and then it was like get to work. And it was exhausting. Pacing is like, I was singing this in the race, I was like, pacing is the counter to everything your coach or experience has taught you of what to do. It's like you do the opposite. It's like charge headfirst into the wind,
Yeah.
take control, get big, like make moves, and like,
Well, it's not about you in that
No.
moment, right? That's the difference.
so it's exhausting for
Yeah.
sure, and especially on a day where it's like really unpredictable wind. I was really trying to take charge. We ran into the kind of the back of the pace vehicle at one point,
Oh, didn't you
crossing
say
Allen
you?
Parkway, and I ran up and banged on the side of the truck to get them to move faster, and they
Yeah.
were just like kind of stuck with the pacing bikes or the lead bikes, and so there's some like a little bit of yeah, it was busy on Sunday for sure. Even with the halves gone, the halves left 10 minutes before us, so we didn't have that mix that you usually would.
Yeah.
But it still got, I guess, a lot of the ADP. Oh no, ADP went as well. It must have been the regular half marathoners, like open field,
Yeah.
got in our mix too. And then at 8 Mile, they went straight, and the marathoner turns right, and it was a little bit lonely, especially for one of the local elites. First time marathoner, this guy got in
Aw.
through the same kind of
Yeah.
program I did. I watched him running with a huge pack, and everyone went straight, and he went right, and I was like, oh. And there's a one tip I gave him before the race. I was like,
Yeah.
find a pack, even if you have to speed up to get in it or
Yeah.
slow down to go into
It'll
it.
help.
Yeah. And he was solo, and I just watched him slowly come back to us, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
right out the back door.
Oh no.
So I got local elite again. I'm registered for 2026
Already.
Houston Marathon
Yeah.
already.
Congrats.
And yeah, and then went down to the studio, ABC 13.
You do that every year.
Because I broke my leg, that's how I was going to bring it up. The one year I had to miss Houston Marathon was because the day I registered, the following day I registered around Thanksgiving time in November, I was running home from a group run, the Bagel Run at Good Times
Yeah.
Running Company, and a guy stopped at a crosswalk. I thought he had saw me, so I waved my hand, went in front of him, and it
Yeah.
turned out he didn't see me. He was just, I don't know doing what, and he slammed on the accelerator, and I went for a hood ride and broke the fibula head of my left leg.
It's painful.
Yeah, and there was a lot of shock, and like at first I was like, I think I can run home, and
Yeah.
then I kind of like, and then it
You
started wearing
realized,
off,
yeah.
and I was like,
That
didn't-
adrenaline hides a lot for sure.
oh yeah, you can do anything in that moment. But so yeah, I had to sit Houston out that 1 year, and I immediately got to cross training really hard. Started running basically the day after the Houston Marathon, in mid-January.
Yeah.
And won the Woodlands Marathon in 2:30. It was kind of a really hot, humid year, which it typically is for Woodlands.
It's normally hot. Yeah.
The half's fine. You'll be fine,
Yeah.
typically.
Yeah, it gets
by the
hotter
time-
during the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just really gets scorchy.
Yeah.
So, that was like my comeback. Speaking of, that's such a perfect transition. Don't call it a comeback.
Keira D'Amato.
Yeah.
The
I'm so
book
happy for her.
release that we mentioned on Friday was
Yeah.
announced.
On Sunday, she announced her book, which I'm supposed to get a copy soon.
Yeah.
Don't Call It a Comeback, is going live. I have a picture of that as well. I'll bring it up. But yeah, super excited to hear that. I mentioned I was talking with her on the phone. Every now and then we'll have a little catch-up call. And there it is. Coming September 9th, 2025. I think pre-orders, available for now. So
Yeah.
this is where I was talking about, we were like hinting at like, I'm in there. I'm part of
Yeah.
her story
Right?
for pacing.
But you don't know what?
Yeah, I'm sure it's all fine. It's all
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. Really excited
Give
for
me
her.
the secrets. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. What else you got?
All right.
Screen keeps dimming.
Yeah, my battery's dying, so I'm trying to preserve it. Second time to mention burritos.
I had an amazing burrito today from Cabo Bob's.
You love Cabo Bob's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've taken first place ahead of, what was the other one? Freebirds and Chipotle for sure.
So, okay, listen. I'm
Ooh,
so
we're doing
sorry.
burrito rankings.
I am not that into Freebirds.
Not anymore?
I was into it for a while, but it just has this taste to it. Just like Chipotle.
They got rid
Chipotle
of
has a
They
taste.
got rid of and changed a few ingredients.
And Freebirds went downhill for me.
For sure.
Chipotle just tastes like, like Subway is Subway, Chipotle is Chipotle. It just has its.
Now, if it was free for a year,
Well,
that'd be a
yeah, of
different
course,
story.
that's different. I would choose Chipotle over Freebirds, though. So sorry, Texas. Cabo Bob's I've only had one time, so I don't know.
far superior.
But anyway, Burrito Gate.
The reason it's coming up to, I feel like we talk about doping a lot on this show
Yeah.
already, but the Burrito Gate, what it was called. Had you ever heard of this?
No.
Shelby Houlihan?
No.
She was a track athlete. She just finished serving a 4-year ban for performance enhancing drugs that she still to this day, even on Instagram,
Yeah.
like this week has announced not guilty, don't know how it happened, but the whole thing was blamed on a tainted burrito 4 years ago
One burrito.
from a food truck and not.
Wow.
So basically, it was I want to say it right, Nandrolin, if I'm getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
The way it looked was like basically whoever was on her legal team, and now this is all speculation, but this is the way it kind of like charted out.
yeah.
Is like, where in the world could you possibly ingest this in a natural form?
Mm-hmm.
And it's specifically from wild boar testicles.
Oh, we talked about
uncooked
this. Yes.
Or something so offal.
Yeah.
And so they basically were like, well, I ate here at this food truck and had the burrito on this date and then got tested. And so there's no other way that it must have been from tainted meat, which tainted meat, it shows up and actually passes through, like athletes will keep their receipts and they can go back and they can check where meats come from and test that. And it can get people out of trouble. But this one was just like, seemed way too far-fetched, and they called it Burrito Gate, Shelby Houlihan, all this stuff. And but she's back, and so it comes with great like scrutiny that like, you know, kind of have like the once a doper always.
Yeah.
And like you're done. Like it's crazy that she survived 4 years, and I haven't watched yet. But apparently looking like chiseled and fit and like ready to
really?
race. Like
Ready
she's
to
ready for
go.
track season.
Yeah.
She's been waiting and training for
Yeah.
4 years, and even that came with like a ton of. There's rules around like you can't train with other people, and she was showing up to track with groups. So there's just it just never went over well. But to have some, I guess, compassion, I can't imagine being like accused of that. If she truly is.
If you truly didn't do it.
Like I was saying with the IV, like just avoiding all those situations, but like it could happen really to anybody.
So don't eat mystery meat.
Yeah.
Don't take in IVs.
well, that's
Yeah.
just blatant illegal.
Yeah.
But yeah, what an awful experience to go through and then survive.
4 years is a long time.
Like most people's careers would just be completely,
For a runner, yeah.
especially sponsorships, missing Olympic cycles,
Yeah.
just motivation and just like the absolute like mutiny she had
Yeah.
from everybody. So, well, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's all I had.
That's it for the whole night?
Yeah, for the whole night.
Well, we got regular stuff to go through. We have always
Yeah, we have
star
regular stuff. So
life updates. Yeah.
yeah.
We're getting ready for the winter storm. That's huge for everybody. So yeah, just getting off search and rescue calls. So we haven't gotten into that much. I'm with Texas Search and Rescue. I was previously with Volunteer Search and Rescue in Canada.
Yeah.
Just love the training and got to go away for the Volunteer Appreciation Weekend and meet a lot more of the team. And we're kind of on standby this weekend at any point, maybe to go to like these warming centers that we're setting up and just help with elderly or, homeless or whatever it might be to get out of the cold. I've done only one call out officially so far
Yeah.
with them for a missing elderly person. Really can't get into too many details all the time
Yeah.
because it is like criminal sensitive cases in a lot of things and missing people. And there's some that are already in the news. So like there was that vehicle that went off the road during Thanksgiving time where the father lost his life trying to save the kid, and the kid still hasn't been found. But the team was up there for like 5 days searching the
You were
waterways.
getting calls, every 10 minutes it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like my way that I love to give back, and
Yeah.
love the people that are in there. There were like a lot of ex-military, a lot of current police, fire, very tactical people.
You always come back with a lot of stories.
Yeah, like the man crush guy.
The man crush.
Yeah, it's like SWAT team.
I haven't seen
my
him
version.
yet. I should have asked.
Well, you're not going to see him this week because school's closed.
I know.
But I'll drop Charlotte.
I should have asked that yesterday.
On
We had a play date with.
Oh, one of the
yeah.
person at the school.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have asked that.
Next
What are
time.
they doing tomorrow? We should have another play date.
We should have another play day. Yeah. What else is going on? We have trot stuff coming up that we really need to
Hunker down on.
Jackalope
Jam is a unique event. It's a timed event, so people they can choose their duration, not their mileage. So 6 hour, 12, 24, 48, 72, and 100 hours. So we start on Wednesday at 9 a.m., go all the way to Sunday afternoon for that one.
Every
Unique
Valentine's
bunch.
Day,
Yeah.
really romantic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's actually fun. I did some miles out there last year, but I was sick. Remember, I came home and was like bedridden with a fever for 2 days after that.
It's usually weather like this. We had sideways sleet like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's the only time I get my mountaineering gear out is for
It was cold
Jackalope
last
Jam.
year for sure.
Sideways north winds, which it's out north to a cone and back south. So it's like, pretty brutal. But people can go really far, and it's a unique race. I'd love to do a 6 hour.
Well, you
list.
keep talking about that. Yeah, 6 hour. We need to find a good one for you.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, so trot. I've been starting school up this week.
Yeah. What are your 2 classes?
I have
Stats.
basically like a quantitative statistical business decision class, and then an IT and business class, which is kind of BS for me a little bit. I'm in IT.
Underwater basket weaving.
Right, and in the first week was like the PowerPoints were what is IT, what is digital transformation, and those are words in my vocabulary every day at work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it seems undergrad.
Yeah,
sure.
But it's fine. Yeah, it's going. I start up through work executive coaching this week too, so I get to add that to my plate. So that'll be fun.
Wow, can you hear the ice coming in?
Yeah, it's really coming
Yeah,
down.
it sounds like crystals smashing against the window right now.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous
Coming a
actually.
little
I was going to
early.
say that.
Well, so you're in
haven't-
energy. We haven't really dived into your work, but you're basically, if I can explain it like how an idiot I would to myself.
Yes.
Your company is trading from the power suppliers to consumer providers of power to make sure that they always have enough for the grid demands. And to make money, you're like trading it, selling
Kind
it.
of, yeah, we do wholesale power and gas trading. And then we also, facilitate.
Other commodities.
Yeah, we do other commodities too. And then we facilitate like the data transmission from the grid to regulators. And then we do quick real-time trades and provide, gas or power to the plants as well.
Bringing the power to the people.
So there's kind of a variety of trading that we do. We also have a flair of the business where we trade on other people's behalf because they may not be big enough to buy and sell and manage the risk of what they need to provide. So we kind of operate as that entity for them for a fee. There's a variety of things that we do.
But obviously weather's like a huge component.
Oh yeah, I mean there's
like knowing what the demand's going to be, and especially in Texas where it's been an absolute cluster in the past, mainly during the heat waves.
Yeah.
Also during the freezes.
Yeah.
Where people just lose power for like days.
Well, I was about to say I was nervous because we've not been in this house for any type of extreme event. Mm-hmm. So we really have no clue what's going to happen.
Yeah. And we're on a water well here, so like our own well. And there's a pump, electric power pump.
Well, so I was thinking about this, right, is if we don't have power, we don't have water.
Right. Because
that pump's not working. However, if, like last time, everyone was trickling their faucets and the water pressure and everything was so far down within all the city water that, the city didn't have water for 5 days. We're not going to have that problem because we have our own well.
Yeah.
Ours is just the power issue that we need to think about.
Yeah. Which we have a warehouse full of generators, so.
Yeah. So
as long as we can run some important things here.
Yeah. What else? Any Amazon purchases since you're weird?
That I never even used, the toe caps.
Yeah.
I haven't been around in time to
The only thing that I've bought since we last talked were a few extra faucet covers.
Which we have like a hanger full of.
Well, these were different ones.
Okay.
For the ones sticking out.
I was impressed. You did a good job prepping.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Handy.
I'm always pretty handy. Yeah, I built things.
We didn't talk about my ice cream that I had last night. It was amazing.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It was called Honey Bucket, and it was actually
What's in Honey Bucket?
Well, what I would usually do is just full on dark
peanut butter,
chocolate,
Oreo, chocolate,
butter,
cookie dough.
Yeah.
That's what he wants.
But there was one just kind of stood out to me. I had to try it. It was the only one I sampled, and it was like honey, like a vanilla with like honey in it, like natural.
That is so unlike you.
And then I added, because you can put anything in, I smash it in, oatmeal cookie. And it was like unreal.
Really?
And the girls tried it, loved it too. So
interesting.
It's my like new go-to from this Amy's ice cream place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. That's
Honey
very
bucket.
unlike you. I would have never, ever guessed that for you. But yeah, all right.
Travel, we're hoping to go away this weekend, potentially. Hill country. I need trails.
Get some trails in.
Yeah.
Get a little.
Time to get specific.
Yeah.
For Black
for
Canyon.
Black Canyon.
Yeah, I need to be ready.
Get away for the weekend a little bit.
If the house and the grid and the kids and everything are stable.
Yeah, assuming everything's stable, we'll get away. I'll have schoolwork to do, but that's fine. That's really it.
I got the wing out today.
That's true.
It's been a while. It was like 30
How was that
degrees.
with the wind? I mean, the wind was crazy.
Yeah, I kind of messed up a little bit. It was like way...
What I love to hear.
So it was a little stronger than I gave it credit for, which with a paraglider is like, you don't have much window of wind.
Yeah.
And you need some, obviously, to keep the glider up, and then you need a little bit more if you want to like actually fly a ridge. Like we kind of have a hill, which they've destroyed behind us.
Yeah.
We've had excavators and work trucks just flattening my hill top.
Well, so the hill...
It's still a hill down to the water.
Was a little... Here's our
bump,
property, and it goes a bump up, just very small, into the reservoir.
Yeah.
But they are completely flattening it to where it's level.
Like the rim of it's all flat.
Yeah.
Now. We don't have a little bump on top of the rim.
There's no bump anymore.
So there's still a hill going down to the reservoir, and I'm convinced I could still like ridge soar this reservoir hill.
Yeah,
and
but
today,
you lost like 5 feet.
from that hill flattening. But today, I got out the big wing, like just my practice, I have a little speed wing that's just for like really high wind to practice everything. It's for ground handling only. But I thought it was like within okay limits. And I want to push myself because it's important, like to be comfortable on mountain launches or windy launches, to be able to control a paraglider, because that's the like most critical time.
Yeah.
Is Lonnie, you've been on launch now. You've seen like in Lookout Mountain where people are
well, even that day
pulling up the glider.
that you couldn't launch. I mean, the wind was crazy too, but yeah, pulling up the glider.
Yeah, there's a moment like when the wind's at your back, you pull up the glider in front of you and it goes through the power zone and you can get dragged or you can get popped. Today I was like able to bring it up no problem, even though it was really windy, and then I went vertical. I was like 10 feet off the ground hovering for a few seconds.
Was that
flying.
It was exciting for you?
Well, I was flying, like legitimate flying, but I was like, this is a little strong. Moment where I was like,
I need to come down.
Yeah. But I did it like gracefully. It wasn't like a mess. There was a few like ground handling, like holy shit moments. But like then I just went and swapped wings and got the little one out, but wasn't having as much fun. And it was cold and we wanted to go to a sauna. So, but at least I got it out. It's important to practice because I definitely felt rusty. So I'm staying current on the ground handling and
Yeah. No other flying news really. We need to get into our ground school and look at that. But
I actually signed up for what's called Part 107 tonight to do a course for search and rescue that will give me drone capability.
Oh, cool.
So because we have new unmanned vehicle support that actually has forward-looking infrared on it. Really cool, like $7,000 camera system on these a little bit larger drone than I already have. So I can fly it. I know I can pilot it, but I don't have the regulatory sign off, and it's pretty easy to get. So
nice.
I'm going to do that for pilot license on that. And then I can fly the drones for search and rescue sometimes, which is super handy.
Yeah, that's exciting too.
Yeah, so at this retreat that we did, the two things that like stand out with search and rescue is like you cannot beat the dogs and you cannot beat the drones. Like when it just comes to capability, like you could just put teams and teams and teams in the woods to go and find somebody, but I showed you that video of the dog. Yeah. It's over so fast. Oh, the like efficiency. Speaking of efficiency again. Yeah. They are the super shoe of search and rescue there. Yeah, that one dog did like one S-curve over here and the patient was upwind, or the hiding person. Yeah. One over here and then kind of picked up something and then it was S, boom, done. Like, it was very 400 fast. Meters down the field, hiding in a boat, like someone just tucked in. And then the drones, it's like, they just light up like this microphone on, like, and you look at the woods, you just see trees, but then you turn the camera over to FLIR and it's like pretty impressive. So if you're trying to hide, it's pretty hard to do these days. We will find you. We will find you. Yeah. That's good. Awesome. I don't know if we have time this week for hobbies. I saw that on the list. We have a new like mini cub to build out of balsa wood. I think that'd be cool. RC. Oh, that's right. I forgot. So if it's like we're like shut in winter wise. Yeah, no internet. Yeah. Like you can do your puzzle and I'll build an airplane. Yesterday, I let the kids destroy the puzzle in the play date. That was the game? No, they wanted to do it, but then it was hard, and then they just kept messing it up. So it just, I have to start over now, but that's okay. Worth it. Yeah. But I was just double checking. Plenty of things to do. Else to post for pictures? No. Yeah. I think this one could be short and sweet. Next week will be. We're already at 54 minutes. We got a complaint in from Belen that our episode was too long. Well, do what I do and listen on 1.5 to 2x. Except last week I was moving my leg the entire time I watched it back, and it was just me like this. And when I was listening to it or watching it, I think I listened and watched at 1.7. It was just like the whole time. Rocking. It was driving me crazy. So I tried to be more still today. That's something I had to learn with doing like public interviews, especially on TV, was the constant movement that I would do. I think I've gotten so much better. Now I just feel like I'm so stiff. Like I'm just trying to be. It does feel that way. You know? It's really cool being ABC 13. Like it's always evolving there, but it's like, we walk in and we're not really given, John Warren's the coach of Rice, and we sit down, not given really any direction or what's going to happen. Yeah. And the broadcasters are so amazing. They have these screens that are just like going by like crazy with what they're supposed to say. They've like maybe never seen it, and they're just like, "Hi, welcome to ABC 13. This is the Finish Line show." And they just wing it. It's so they're professional. Do it live. Yeah, do it live. We have done it live.
Yeah.
We're doing
All
pretty
right.
good with our one takes.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
It's fine.
no editing.
So, yeah, next week will be less Chevron Houston focused and more
Yeah, moving
business
on.
as usual. Yeah. What we want to get out of it on a day-to-day basis or week-to-week basis.
Yeah, and the weather will be improving, so hopefully start moving in the direction of flying stuff a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Black Canyon's coming up in just under 3 weeks
That's
now.
exciting.
So the 100K
Yeah.
on tap.
Yeah.
So
All right.
that's what you have to look forward to.
Well, everyone stay warm out
Yeah.
there.
Let us hit us up if you have any questions to submit or
Yeah.
requests for chats, or if you need some kind of support, like potentially have some connections that can help
Yeah.
out this week
Let us know.
while you're sheltered in. All right, well that's it. We can hear the ice just slamming here
It's
against
really
the old
coming down.
hangar.
Yeah.
And we'll sign off right there.
Okay.